All right. Hi, everybody. For those of you that are watching the replay, thank you for jumping in. Go ahead and click your little Perry button down here in the corner and share it out. Or if you're on an Android, swipe up. If you're on an iOS, swipe, I think it's right, if I remember. And share this out on Twitter if you would. Thanks for those of you that are jumping in right now. My name is Sarah Metter, and I am an executive board member for Whole Brain Teaching. And we're going to talk just a little bit today about using gestures to help get you 100% engagement and get you help you to improve some memory. So if you are from Walsh University right now, I am teaching a grad course through Walsh all about whole brain teaching, and this is one of their required videos to watch. So if you're from Walsh, hi, let me know in the comments if you're here watching us live. Otherwise, they're going to watch the replay later. So it's going to be real short, real quick today. Tap that screen. Let me know if you're excited about whole brain teaching, if you're having a good year, if things are going really well. You need to sit down, please. And just let me know how it's going. Driving into WBT this year, that's awesome. Yay, I've got somebody from my Walsh class here. Awesome. All right, so here's the basic idea of using gestures. When you're teaching and you want 100% engagement, no matter from, this is your first year, awesome, no matter from kindergarten all the way up through high school, what you want is engagement, not only in when you're talking, but when students are talking to each other. Hold on one second. I told you no. I told you 3 times. That's enough. Sit down over there. I've got my kindergartner in here. She wants to say hi. So everybody say hi to Aubrey.
Hello, I'm Aubrey.
There you go.
5 years old.
She is 5 years old. There you go. It's the best thing that's happened to my classroom. Mine too. Absolutely right. So here's what I know. I know when you want 100% engagement from your kids, thank you, from your students, you need to do something with them. Kid interruptions, I know. You need to do something with them that engages them, that allows them to have fun, and also as a teacher lets you know that they're with you. Because I've learned 2 things in my 15 years of teaching, that just because a kid is looking at you doesn't mean they're actually listening to you. And the opposite is true. Just because you are looking at a student who looks like they're daydreaming and staring out the window doesn't mean they're not listening to you. So we need a way to get better feedback from our students. So here's one really simple strategy that you can use. It's a whole brain teaching strategy, and it's called mirror words. So it looks like this. When I hold up my hands and say mirror words, you hold up your hands and say mirror words back. So I say mirror words, and all my students say mirror words. And then from that point on, anything that I do and say, they're also going to do and say. So in elementary school, you can use this for your morning calendar stuff, for giving directions for things, and you use it a lot more for just talking to your kids to make sure that they're listening to you. I don't want you to fall, honey. Sit down. So you could say mirror words, today is Wednesday. And you can do things like that to make sure that they're all listening to you and engaged. Now, when you get into the upper grades, I teach 6th grade, 7th grade, and 8th grade middle school science. And with my students, it's really important that you get buy-in from them, that they understand why they're using the gestures, and you tie the gestures more to 7th, 8th English, awesome. You tie the gestures more to memory, and you can do this in younger grades absolutely as well. Here's our gesture for a noun. A noun is a person, place, or thing. Here's our gesture for an adjective. An adjective changes or modifies a noun. So our gestures can help them remember important concepts. Most important in the upper grades to help them understand that this is why they're doing it. They need to understand the process. So what I do in my classes is the very first lesson I teach is a lesson on the brain. And so that's what I'm going to teach you today. If you've been to a whole brain teaching conference, you've probably learned these gestures for the brain. And with my 6th grade classes, I use this exact lesson, and it helps them to see that they really do learn better when they're using gestures. I also work with a lot of kinder, 1st, 2nd, 3rd grade teachers, and they teach their students all about the brain too. So I'm going to give you the real shortened, condensed version on whole brain teaching and how we want to get all the parts of the brain to be used. So with my students, I'd first have them hold up their fists like this. It's more accurate if you do it like this to simulate their brain because it's 2 hemispheres, but it's easier for students to do this. Love the brain lesson, awesome. So this is our brain. It's about the same size as your brain in your head, and then you'll have them wiggle their 2 front fingers. Hi. Wiggle their 2 front fingers. This is your prefrontal cortex, and it makes decisions. So I then have the kids tell their neighbors that this is your prefrontal cortex, and it makes decisions. Then I have them wiggle their thumbs. Their thumbs is their visual cortex, and their visual cortex is in charge of their sight. So then I have my kids tell each other, this is your prefrontal cortex, it makes decisions. This is your visual cortex, it controls sight. And then I'd show them, so the prefrontal cortex is in the front, that's right here. The visual cortex is in the back, that's right here. Then we'd continue on and we'd talk about the motor cortex. The motor cortex is at the top of your brain and it controls all of your movements. So when you're moving right now, your motor cortex is firing up. You are looking at me and looking at your partner, so your visual cortex is firing up, and you are making the decision to participate. So your prefrontal cortex is firing up as well. So we're getting more brain involvement, but those aren't the only parts of the brain. So then I have the kids rub the side of their palm over here, and it's not 100% structurally accurate, but it's in a way, in a simplified way that students will understand. So we have them rub this part of the back of their hand. This is where your Broca's area is located, and Broca's area helps with our speech. And then near the back here, this is our Wernicke's area, and our Wernicke's area helps with listening. So to understand the difference between the two and help them remember the difference between the two, I teach your Broca's helps with your speech. Broca's helps with speech. And I teach Wernicke's, what'd you say? And then I have them say it 3 times. Wernicke's, 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 because it's just fun and it helps them remember that Wernicke's is for hearing. And then I have them teach their neighbor. Prefrontal cortex makes decisions, visual cortex is for sight, motor cortex is for movement, then I teach Broca's, Broca's is for speech, Wernicke's, what'd you say? Wernicke's, Wernicke's, Wernicke's is for hearing. Then I have them rip their brains apart. We go with like a crazy, fleshy, gross kind of sound, and I have them touch just the inside of each palm. This is where your limbic system is located, and there's a lot of parts in here that we could get into if we were a more upper grade biology type class, but the basic idea is this is where your limbic system is, and your limbic system is in control of your emotions. So when you are happy, sad, joyous, fearful, this is the part of your brain that is firing. And so I tell my kids, my 6th graders especially, when you're in a class and you're bored, this part of your brain is shut off. So when you're giggling and laughing, and even middle schoolers rolling their eyes, this part of your brain is firing. And so we then have the kids teach their neighbors prefrontal for makes decisions, visual for sight, motor for movement, Broca's for speech, Wernicke's what? Wernicke's, Wernicke's, Wernicke's for hearing, and then limbic system for emotions. And so what I can then have them do is say things like, all right guys, show me where your movement happens in your brain, and they wiggle their hands. Show me where your sight is processed in your brain, and they wiggle their thumbs. And so I can kind of get feedback on whether or not they were, just a minute honey, whether they were listening, whether they understand. I have them constantly show me the motions, teaching their neighbor, and including these gestures helps them not only to know the words, but to remember the word means this, and here's where it is in your brain. And I prove it to them, because the very first day of school is when I teach this to all of my students. Oh, be careful. She's trying to see and she just fell, which is what I told her not to do. You're all right. Here, everybody, tell her she's going to be all right. Say, you're all right. Yeah, that's what happens. You're okay. So anyway, I tell my kids, watch the replay. That's right, Coach is here. Hi, Coach. I told you I have distractions all the time with kids. I'm so excited you're here. Everybody say hi to Coach. If you have not clicked, oh, Aubrey wants to say hi too. Say hi to Coach. There. If you have not clicked on his comment and clicked follow, you have to follow him. He is the founder of Whole Brain Teaching, along with Chris Rexstan and Andrea Schindler. Absolutely amazing. So the big idea, to sum it all up, the big idea is, yes, tap some hearts for Coach, man. He's amazing, and he's waiting for me to call him back, and I haven't yet, but I haven't forgotten Coach. So the big idea, to wrap it all up, is we want to get our kids engaged in what we're doing and tie in gestures to help them remember things. So with my students, I first day teach them this part of the brain, and the second day when they come back, I say, all right, show me where your visual cortex is. And they go like this. And they can't remember that they remembered something from yesterday. I mean, come on, people. We're talking 6th graders, 7th graders, 8th graders. Sometimes they can't even remember what they did last hour, let alone remember a whole bunch of new words and facts 24 hours later. They didn't have to read anything, do any worksheets, write anything, do any homework. They just simply had to move and talk.
Yeah.
So when we tie it directly to gestures, your students are engaged with you, they're having fun, they're laughing, and their memory is definitely increased. So if you have any questions, please feel free to send me a tweet at MetterScience. Make sure you follow all of our Whole Brain Teaching Executive Board members. We've got, of course, Chris Biffle, Andrea Rekstadt, apparently they got married, Andrea Schindler, Chris Rekstadt, but then we also have Andre Desautel, Jeff Battle, Kate Bowski, Giselle Cruz, Ferris Shipley. I think that's everybody. I hope I didn't forget anybody. I follow all of them on Twitter, so if you want to find their handles, you can find them on Twitter as well. So you guys have been awesome. Thank you so much. I hope you have a great day. And
Bye, guys.
Aubrey says bye too.
Bye-bye.
All right. Thanks, everybody. I will actually be posting this on my blog as well. So if you can only watch this for about 24 hours. And after that, Andrea's here too. Oh my gosh, everybody click on Little Rocket. That's Andrea Schindler. She is a co-founder. She is a kindergarten dynamo. If you teach elementary school, you have to follow Andrea. She did a pretty good Periscope the other day. I watched it too. So great job, Andrea. So anyway, I will be putting it on my blog. It's WBTforme. .blogspot.com. Wish Aubrey was in my class. I wish she was in your class too. She's in love with school, but I know she would love it even more if she was in your class for sure. All right, say bye.
Bye.
All right, thanks guys. Have a great day.